Hey everybody, I just want to provide some updates on the demo for my game, The Majestic. It's been 4 months since I've updated the demo. In that time, the game is coming along quite well. There have been a lot of big changes, and I'm focusing on getting the story and content in place, fixing a lot of bugs, updating visuals, and improving performance. So I thought this would be a good time to update the demo so that everybody has the best experience. Perhaps this is a bad time to worry about the demo since everybody's been spending their time playing the thousands of demos currently on Steam Next Fest, but I would just like to keep this demo updated and available. The current version of the demo is 0.17. It's been 4 months since the last update. With this update, it's much larger in size, unfortunately. It's increased by several gigs. The last version was at 9 gigabytes in size, and now it's at 12. The main reason for the size increase has to do with nanite meshes being much larger. I redid all of the trees, some other geometry. I hope this leads to better visuals and performance in the game at the cost of some hard drive disk space. If you are limited on disk space or do not want to download a 12 gig demo, I completely understand. I did not want it to be as large as it is. When I first built the new demo, it was over 14 gigs, and I did as many things as I could to bring that down, cutting off a couple of gigabytes to bring it to 12. What you can expect in the demo for visuals is more polish on a bunch of different items. The dirt paths in the level are visible now. There was a bug where they were invisible. The crops for the farm are visible now. That was also a bug. Waterfall visuals are completely redone. The canopy for the trees are all redone and visually more detailed. The magical towers in the distance have been completely redone and are higher fidelity. Some extra cinematics for some things, such as entering and exiting portals. When gathering essence with the character, there is now a little effect that plays. I've been doing some passes to reduce how much glow and brightness there is. It might still be high in certain areas, but I'm trying to cut it down so that it's a more comfortable viewing experience while playing. And all the water surfaces are the same now. There were different water visuals depending on the surface and where it was. The next area of improvement is in the performance of the game. A lot of this has to do with the foliage, trees, bushes, farm crops, and various other foliage assets. These assets have been redone to reduce nanite overdraw. Another big improvement is in the animations, in particular with AI, such as the enemies, the animals, and any AI people. All of these animations were running on a single thread. Now the animation system is using the multi-threaded technology. This should help with the CPU side of performance. And there's been focus on the memory footprint of the game. A lot of this has to do with the textures that are used. I have been slowly going through textures and reducing the number of unique textures that are being used in the game and instead using tiled textures as a preference. The work here is still ongoing. There's a lot of improvement that can be made here and with getting the memory footprint down. So there's been a lot of sound work done as well. This also contributes toward the larger game size. Sounds can take up a bit of space, and they're not totally optimized for disk space yet. I've been going around and trying to make the world feel more alive. I've been trying to add effects to things where you would expect them. All of the animals now have their own footprint sound effects. So when you're nearby some animals in the world, you might not see them, but now you can hear them moving around. And they also have random grunt and idle sounds. So with regard to bugs and stuff that were fixed from the previous demo, really there's been so many different fixes, it'd be too many to count. I think some of the larger pain points were the wisp not taking you to the right spot. Most of these issues should be fixed.
In some cases, you might have multiple music tracks playing at the same time. I've been trying to get a handle on the music system, and for the most part, it seems to be working pretty well right now. And there's been a large rework with the swimming system. There were some issues where the character could get stuck in shallow waters and other places. There were also places where you would be swimming in the air. There's a lot of different swimming bugs, and they're not all fixed yet, but for the most part, it's a lot better. So one thing with this demo is the original introduction is quite long. You have to watch about 5 minutes or more of a cinematic before you can begin testing out the game. And for the demo only, I wanted the player to be able to get in and play much quicker. So I've cut the cinematic in the demo down to about 2 minutes. This should just help players get in quickly and start testing the game instead of having to watch a large cinematic first. The cinematic will definitely return for the full-fledged game, and it will still undergo additional polish. It's not quite at its final form just yet. So the final thing I would like to touch on are the people who cannot get into the game at all. If you launch the game, you may receive an error, a fatal error, which is rather unfortunate. There is something with nanite and the materials that are preventing older graphics cards from compiling the shaders and using them, and then it crashes in a fatal error. I've yet to nail down how to fix this or if it can be fixed, but there is a workaround so that you can still play the game on your current hardware. In the shortcut to the game or in Steam's preferences and configuration settings, you can force the game to use DirectX 11. Doing this will make it so you are not using nanite or lumen. It'll fall back to the older technology. This will allow you to play the game. It just will not be at the highest quality level compared to those on DirectX 12. But you will be able to play the game, and it'll actually run pretty decently on my GTX 1070. It pretty much sits at 80 to 90 frames per second throughout the game. That's at HD 1920 by 1080 resolution. By comparison, when I play the game on an RTX 3090 at 4K resolution, I'm sitting between 40 to 60 frames per second. So that's it for this update. This will not be the last time the demo is updated, and the full-fledged game is certainly being worked on and progressed as well. It's coming along quite nicely. Give the game a try and let me know what you think. With your testing and your feedback, I'm hoping to make this the best it can be. Thank you and take care.